Yes, I would go with that for multiple reasons. I would say that there is the GIFT City that is coming up. There is a lot of focus on infrastructure over there. So I would say that from a livability point of view, from a great city perspective with good infrastructure, a very defensive city where there are multiple employment generation opportunities that exist and multiple verticals exist. Ahmedabad is a very safe city, but from a real estate appreciation perspective, because the infrastructure is good, and you've seen it, we've discussed this before in the show as well, if you're going to keep on adding fantastic infrastructure, that means you're adding much more land that is going to be used for development. That will keep the prices in check, because
okay. But amongst all the picks, Ahmedabad, Indore, Nagpur and Nasik, these are the four
so my
cities.
first pick would be Ahmedabad, and the second would be Indore, because I do see now IT development through Infosys, Wipro and TCS starting to happen over there. It is also the commercial capital of Madhya Pradesh, where there are many other industries that are operating. So, and I don't see too much activity happening in Nashik right now or Nagpur.
Okay, fair enough. Ghulam Zia, come in here. We're just discussing the western region and then we'll go to south. So, Ahmedabad, Indore, Nagpur, Nashik, which one would you pick? Okay, even from a perspective of buying good quality real estate and hoping that it will at least give you FD sort of returns.
Well, none of these markets will actually give you returns which would perhaps will be given by many other instruments that you can have in the market,
okay.
Because all these are going to be in the same range as you spoke about, say 5 to 10% growth annualized, and that's not a very lucrative rate. However, in terms of markets, in terms of traction, in terms of growth of these markets, I would also go by the unanimity. The decision is unanimous. Ahmedabad is going to be on top, and second will be Indore.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move to south now. The cities under consideration: Coimbatore, Kochi, Visakhapatnam. There is, of course, also Mysore. And I'm going to ask Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma, where would you see the most amount of real estate activity in the coming days, or even if you had to say sales picking up, traction, where developers are going to see a promising future?
I think in south, thanks to Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, Amravati may be the place where the maximum growth should happen.
Okay.
As far as we are concerned, we believe that the Cochin is one such place which holds maximum potential. It has a world-class infrastructure, metro is there, international airport is there, biggest car showrooms you will find there, biggest shopping mall you will find there. And I believe that looking at Kerala as a typical state where maximum migrating population should be coming to Cochin to start living, Cochin holds the maximum promise.
Okay, so you've actually thrown up a dark horse, sir, Amravati, and you're saying that Kochi is another market that will continue to do well in terms of real estate. Okay, now North India, that's a large market and there are many commentators. Or you want to add on South India? Sameer has to have the last word on South India as well. Go ahead, Sameer.
So Kochi definitely, but I would also bet on Visakhapatnam. Two reasons for that. One is that US is adopting Visakhapatnam to be one of the smart cities, and I think the United States will probably make that effort. So it could be a dark horse, and depending on the focus of the government to make one such sample smart city for the rest of the cities to follow, Visakhapatnam could be the leader in that. The second is, if you look at the data points,
okay,
there is the total absorption of that city is about 2,700 units, and the total unsold stock is about 3,500 units. So there is probably less than a year and a half's inventory overhang. That is a very positive sign, and the price.
Say the numbers again. It seems to me that more than 50% is
absorption is 2,628 units for the year of 2014, and the unsold stock today stands at 3,438.
Alright, so in a year and a half it will get absorbed.
And lastly, the appreciation is still very affordable. In terms of, has not happened that much, from 2,227 rupees of pricing, weighted average price in the market has gone up to 2,900, so it's super affordable. With US working with the government to make this into a smart city, I think there's a lot of appreciation potential that is left there. Whereas if you compare that to Kochi, the weighted average price of Kochi has already touched 4,000 rupees a square foot. So there's a huge price differential between Kochi and Visakhapatnam. So Kochi, I would definitely echo our panelists' point of view, because there also the inventory overhang is very safe. and yes, there is a lot of employment generation opportunities over there as well.
All right, we're going to take a short break here. So we've discussed West, we've discussed South, but we still have North India to discuss. Jaipur, Mohali, Lucknow, some of the markets, and we could also have a dark horse thrown up by one of the panelists in terms of which market could do well from a real estate perspective. We'll be back on this realty discussion on Tier 2 cities of India. Now our focus is on picking out some of the robust markets in North India amongst the state capitals and Tier 2. All real estate, whether it's Tier 1 or Tier 2, has taken a hit, but which is going to be able to withstand the slowdown and actually emerge a winner going forward. So let's start with the panelists' view. Tarun, take your pick. There's Jaipur, there's of course Mohali that we've spoken about, and Lucknow. Any others that you would like to consider closer home, like Bhiwadi?
See, Manisha, my first pick of course will be Jaipur because of the Delhi DMIC corridor and the investment of the Japanese and the Koreans coming in this belt between Delhi and Jaipur. Secondly, Jaipur will in times to come almost act like a satellite of Delhi. So, and you've seen the NCR almost extend from Delhi. Now Bhiwadi is a very interesting option you mentioned. Bhiwadi is almost now acting as a satellite of it is technically part of the NCR.
Bhiwadi have pretty much become satellites.
It's technically part of the NCR, but it's not a first home option for anyone living in Delhi. But it's almost replaced the Sona Road and the outskirts of Gurgaon market has been replaced by Bhiwadi now. So I think Jaipur on its own, because it's a globally known city. It's got a huge tourist and tourist potential. Then it has a lot of industrial potential. So therefore Jaipur is definitely the first choice. Lucknow would have been my second choice, but now Lucknow is, I think, performed quite a bit in the last 5 years, and going forward the returns are not going to be that great. There's another potentially big city in UP called Varanasi, which is again a global city, completely unutilized potential. There is practically no development. Now, thanks to Mr. Modi, it's again in the global spotlight. And if there is even a little bit of infrastructure development, it will actually compete with Jaipur in terms of being a tourist magnet.
Interesting.
And it's got a lot of art and infrastructure, art and culture and handicraft kind of manufacturing potential.
So that also is a smart city play, isn't it? Just like Vizag, and with the Prime Minister's attention on it, it could see some happier days. All right, Mohit, your pick.
So first I'm going to go with Lucknow,
okay,
but not because I'm doing project over there, because I have I've studied the market and I really feel that there is huge potential, and that's the reason we continue.
All the investors though have run away right now. It was a hugely investor driven market. That doesn't worry you?
Absolutely not, because see, as a developer one should only develop in those cities where the fundamentals are right, where you're developing for the end user, not for the investors.
Okay.
Investor give you money to construct or to quickly construct. Now the financial systems of the real estate is changing. If a developer would be dependent on the investor to construct his project, I don't think so he's going to get those investors really quick.
Okay, so you still believe in the Lucknow
absolutely
story?
So first is Lucknow, and second, which is not there in the option, is the new Chandigarh, which is adjacent to Mohali. I mean, and half of the rates it's available at, like in Mohali, the average rate is around 35,000 to 40,000 rupees per square yard. Rates in Mullanpur, or now it's known as New Chandigarh, it's around 20,000, 25,000 rupees per square yard. And the infrastructure over there which is being built is like next level to Chandigarh itself, and that is the reason it's known as New Chandigarh. That's going to be my second pick.
Okay, let's bring in Sahil here. Sahil, what do you think?
Yeah, without any second thoughts, I would definitely go with Jaipur. We have already seen developers, the major developers like Vatika and MR already put their money in market like Jaipur. The infrastructure is pretty good. There's a lot of disposable income available with people, and the proximity to Delhi, I think it's one of the most adding factors to its popularity. Plus the DMIRC corridor which is coming up, and the closeness to markets like Bhiwadi and Neemrana. Jaipur is one of the best cities in North India when we talk about anything apart from the Delhi NCR market.
Okay,
the second best, I would agree with Mohit, has to be New Chandigarh.
All right,
yeah, because it's commonly known as Mullapur. DLF has made a lot of money in that market in a couple of years back, and now again a lot of new developers, they're planning, because the infrastructure is pretty good, there is job opportunities available, and there are a lot of companies like Infosys and Tata setting up their base over there.
All right. So consensus Jaipur and New Chandigarh. So I'm good. I'm glad to hear there is consensus
I don't agree
emerging.
with the New Chandigarh.
The New Chandigarh. Okay. Do you like Jaipur's story?
Yes, Jaipur,
and of course, Mohit was very
echo,
upset that Sahil did not talk about the Omax 350-acre township in Jaipur.
So we're present in Jaipur and Indore as well. I should start doing corporate branding a bit, I guess.
But my view is, I echo Tarun's thoughts. Jaipur is my first pick and followed by Varanasi, because Japan is seeming to want to adopt Varanasi, and the Prime Minister has a soft corner for that city. So I do see some, if you're looking at appreciation, if you're looking at fast development, that is one city that is bound to catch up with the other and provide you that excitement for appreciation and investors to come in. And New Mulanpur, DLF, well, I don't think they're having any sales over there at the moment.
All right. So
they're struggling with New Mulanpur.
Okay.
Let me give you my sales data too.
All right. Okay, Gulam, North India, take your pick.
Well, I may differ with a couple of these dialogues going on about the DMICs, etc., because Neemrana is the state, is the place where the entire DMIC focus will be. However, having said that, Jaipur still comes up trumps because the sheer population and household size itself is so huge compared to many other markets. In fact, it's more than 2.5 to 3 times the size of Chandigarh that we're talking about. So if I look at the household size and the population, obviously these are going to be the people who will find new jobs in whatever economic drivers you're talking about, and then they will go out and buy. Obviously, I don't believe somebody from Delhi will go about, buy out something in Jaipur for the sake of it. And we spoke about it, that investment is not yet making sense with more than 6, 7 or 8% of growth that we are watching. So it is going to be Jaipur for me on top, but Lucknow to me is looking pretty promising, because once again the population as well as household type, and then also the growth of jobs has been far better than many other cities in Lucknow. So if I look at these couple of parameters together, then for me Chandigarh takes a back seat, Jaipur has got to be on top, and Lucknow somewhere in between.
Okay, all right, gentlemen, we are going to wrap out on this note. So what I'm hearing is, yes, there are some city favorites. Some of these cities do have the ecosystem, the demand and good developers with great products to make it viable real estate markets. But when you talk about viability, it pretty much is an end user demand. For an investor, there's not much action or appreciation in these markets. Perhaps in markets like Varanasi, which are completely greenfield, or Visakhapatnam, which could turn into smart cities, and Amravati, which are fairly futuristic markets, but if you could actually get in there and send some opportunities, you might make the big bucks, otherwise not. Mr. Sharma and Gulam Zia, Mohit Goel, Tarun Mehrotra, Sameer Jasuja, Sahil and Mr. Nehal Shah, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. So Tier 2 cities, Housing.com may take its business to 101 cities, but right now when it comes to investments, I think Tier 1 cities continue to remain a better bet. 10% plus appreciation is not something which you will get in a hurry in Tier 2 cities of India. Markets still small, ticket size still affordable, and definitely end user driven markets. Thank you very much for joining me today.